Hello. So today I wanted to talk about a firearm I've got in my collection here. It's a fairly simple piece. It's an older piece. It's one that is going to actually be refinished. We're gonna hand refinish this one because honestly, it's not worth a whole lot of money, and it'll be a fun project. This is a J. Stevens Arms Company Model 37. It was manufactured, as far as I can tell, somewhere between 1936, 1942, somewhere's in there. Stevens still makes shotguns today. At that time, I believe it was also owned by Savage at that time as it is now. Originally, Stevens was its own entity, but not anymore. Um, I had trouble finding a lot on these, and I've had it for a couple of years. This one here is stamped Chicopee Falls, Massachusetts, USA, 410 bore, proof tested, and model 37. And also on the side it says 2.5 and 3-inch shells. Those are the most common 410 shells, 2.5 and 3-inch. So pretty straightforward. No serial numbering as far as I can find, and looking at articles and questions written on the internet, also no serial numbers to be found. Which is odd, but once again, at that time, that's not that unheard of. The finish is not that great even before it saw a lot of wear. This one obviously saw a lot of shooting. It's lost a screw here. The lacquered butt plate. It's a lacquered steel butt plate on these. It's had some rust. That was my dog's stomach. That was terrifying. It's a very simple bolt action design. It has no magazine. It is single shot. It would be what I would probably classify as a boy's rifle. The sights are very rudimentary. This is also the dog whose stomach you just heard. Hi, dog. Good job, buddy. You just slide your cartridge in there, close it. Very simple bolt action. There is no safety on these. That wasn't that uncommon at the time. If you wanted to decock it manually, once again, I would definitely recommend unloading it. You would hold this knurled knob, and once again, this is something you see on a lot of rifles. Then you would pull on that, pull your trigger, and then just ease that forward, and now you're decocked. When it is ready to fire, you'll see there's a little arrow pointing back, and it's showing there's a gap. That's what you would do: is you would hold on to the knurls, and nice and easy shut it. The other thing is you can once again manually cock it. All you'd have to do is grab the knurls and pull back. It's very stiff, not really what I would recommend doing if you have to, but it was the technology of the time. Very long bolt to disassemble. Just once again, like most bolt actions, hold the trigger. She drops right out. As you can see, she's definitely seen some work, but she's still in good shape. Back in it goes. Hold the trigger down, and you are. These are all cylinder bore. So there's no choke on these. If you wanted to have a choke on these, which I don't know why you would, it's a 410 in single shot, you would have to use what's called a poly choke, and that would have to be put on by a gunsmith. The sights are very rudimentary. You have some cut slots here by the receiver and a single bead at the tip of the barrel. Which, once again, inside of 20 yards with a 410 shotgun, that's going to be all you're going to need. It's a great little starter gun. These do fire. They're fairly fun to shoot. I've shot this more than a few times. Because of its age, I wouldn't put any of the new high pressure loads through it or anything like that. But being a cylinder bore, you can shoot the 410 slugs or 410 birdshot, which is kind of nice. It comes apart really. If it had the third screw, you'd have 2 screws just to take off the trigger guard, which you don't actually have to take off to disassemble it. You just need a big screwdriver to take this off, and that pins into the barrel here. Nice, straightforward weapon, a tool, a good starter rifle. Like I said, I would definitely classify this as a boy's rifle. For taking rabbits or squirrel at close range, it's more than functional. I said earlier, these are not expensive. I mean, the most expensive one I've seen was on a gun auction, and it went for $115, and it was in pretty good shape. This one obviously is not. They're just not worth a whole lot because they were cheap, they were quickly made, and honestly, for $150, you could buy a brand new Stevens pump action 12 gauge. So you kind of got to balance it. But it's a fun little gun to shoot. It's a nice little starter piece. There's not much to go wrong with it, which is something I like. And like I said, at 20 yards with a 410, you don't have to worry about overshooting too much and stuff like that. But you may see some of these kicking around. If you do, they're fun to play with. It's a nice little thing to pick up. I know that there was a while they were making youth firearms in 410 and 22, and some in 43. There was crickets and things like that. This would be the equivalent of its time. So a neat little gun that's coming up on 100 years old that still functions. If you do find one, I would definitely check the barrel. I mean, once again, if it's got a little bit of pitting, I would say it's not going to be an issue because it's a shotgun. But if it's in really bad shape, that's an issue. But a fun little piece. If you have one or if you know anything about it, I'd love to hear about it because, like I said, there's just very little information I could find out there, and I enjoy it as the silly little gun it is. So if you know anything about these or if you have any questions, please leave in the comments, and thank you so much.